Today I want to just talk a little bit about being good enough, because I have noticed I first started writing about being good enough and the fact that we all are good enough probably about 8 years ago in my former life that I've let go of now. That What was really interesting for me was last week. I'm doing diving training, so I'm training to get certificates so that I can dive anywhere in the world, overcome all my fears and all that. And the truth is, I'm doing really well with my diving. I'm taking to it, and I feel like I just feel at home there, like I was a dolphin in a past life or something. But I noticed after one of the sessions last week, there was a little voice in my head that started trying to convince me that I wasn't good enough, which comes from something really deep, something that's been kind of woven in there into my psyche a very long time ago. So that started to come up, and I was listening to it, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm not doing that good. But the evidence was actually that I was doing just fine. So, that really made me contemplate about how things that are so deeply ingrained within us can come up no matter how we're doing. And one of the reasons I wanted to mention this is that in all my journey of life, I have never met one person who hasn't had that thing going on for them in some way or shape or form. And actually, there's a lot of people who come across as really confident leaders and feeling like they're really, they've really got it all, and they put on this bravado. And when you really get to know them, the people who put on the bravest face often are the ones who don't feel like they're good enough inside. And that has come from something that, has been deeply ingrained in them from the youngest age, and it's often propelled them and helped them excel in life, always trying to be good enough. And in a way, I was in a situation for 12 years in my life, and I never ever felt good enough. And it did me loads of amazing things, because it constantly pushed me, it constantly made me try and do better, it constantly made me strive for perfection. I could never ever reach that unrealistic bar that had been set for me, but in the meantime it was great for my skills, because I learned loads of stuff. But the thing is, I just wanted to say that it's absolutely normal human behaviour to think that you're not good enough, to put yourself down, to think that you could do better, to think that you just can't ever meet that unrealistic bar that has been set before you. And I feel really, really thankful that I had a mum who brought me up a lot as a single parent. And, her parenting wasn't perfect, but she was amazing in so many ways. I always felt that she was never pushing me. Everything I did was, the things I achieved, it was always good enough. So I'm really thankful that I had that instilled in me from the youngest age. So that meant that I'm the sort of person that generally, not all the time, I really don't care what people think, if they're judging me and putting their opinions on me. Sometimes if something's super personal to me, it really bothers me. The thing is, when somebody judges you, when you feel not good enough in someone's presence, the thing is, that is because they don't feel good enough themselves. So they're taking that pain. Perhaps when they were a child, they didn't feel good enough with their parents, or a parent, or a father. And, that wired something deeply in their brain. And if they haven't dealt with that, they're going to take that pain and they're going to try and project it onto other people. And then they're going to actually, often subconsciously, sometimes, unfortunately, it is conscious, but let's say that it's subconscious, they will take that pain, they will take the feeling that they're not good enough, and they will project that onto some of the people around them, especially if someone is close to them as well. So it has to stop with you, that feeling of not being good enough. It can stop right here, right now with us. And that's been my approach in life anyway. It's like I feel like I have responsibility. I've seen it, it's busted, and that I have had to work quite hard to allow my brain to reform itself so that there's no feelings that I'm not ever good enough, because it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter how much I mess something up. It's all learning. It's all experience. I want to say to you guys that, you know, if you're listening to this and you ever, you ever have that feeling that you're not good enough in different situations in life, whether it's as a parent, as a, a daughter or a son, or whether it's in your work, or whether it's with a partner or a spouse, or whatever situation it is in life, if you feel like you never kind of meet that bar, then I just want to say, just take that bar and throw it away, because you are good enough exactly as you are. And if you feel in somebody else's presence that you are not good enough, that is more about them than it is about you, because every single person has exactly what they need to be, exactly who they are, and you are good enough. You were just being judged, or you've been so deeply ingrained with other people's judgments that you're judging yourself. So I just want to remind you that you are good enough. And one of the things that I did on my journey, probably about 15 years ago, I got loads of post-it notes, and I wrote things like, I am good enough, or, for me it was letting go of what other people thought. So write, you are good enough, on post-it notes, and stick it all over your house. Wake up in the morning, let the first thing you say be, I am good enough, and see how that makes you feel. When the bathroom window steams up because of the water being hot, if you use hot water, write, I am good enough. I've also heard there's a technique going around where people are getting lipstick. I don't wear makeup, don't have lipstick, not gonna get it. But if you have lipstick, write it on the mirror. I am good enough. Just remind yourself, because just hearing it, feeling it, and saying it to yourself is going to remind you that you are good enough. I just want to give you that gift because it's been invaluable for me on my journey to unwire that judgment and that projection that I felt in my life, just to remind myself that I am good enough exactly as I am, and so are you. And I mean every single person. You are enough.